Well, it's been another busy week here at the old house on the corner. But this week, Claudine took some time to respond to a request from one of our viewers in the past vlog, and she shared a little bit of our homeschooling journey. We hope you enjoy the information that she shares and get a little more insight into our journey as a homeschooler family. And by the way, if you like this video, give us a thumbs up. It'll help other people that are interested in homeschooling get to see this video and also hear our story too. And remember, if you want to see more of our videos when they come out, hit that red subscribe button down below and be sure to click the bell so you're notified when a new video is posted. Thanks. See you later.
Old house on the corner.
Welcome back, old house guests. Today I would like to talk a little bit about homeschooling. Back, I don't know which video, we asked for suggestions, maybe it was our 50th, asked for suggestions on some topics or some things you'd like to see, and someone asked about homeschooling. So the first thing I need to say about homeschooling is I believe it's a very personal decision for your family. I don't believe everyone should or can homeschool. I believe it has worked in what was best and what God was asking our family to do. And it's actually changed over the years. This will be our 19th year of homeschooling, I believe. Maybe it will be our 20th. I don't know. Somewhere I've lost track. Brianna started 19 years ago. But anyway, when we initially felt God leading us to homeschool, we chose to for many reasons. One, we just weren't ready to let Brianna go to a school and be away from us for that many hours. We did start her when she was 4 as opposed to 5. She was turning 5 during her kindergarten year, or in December of her kindergarten year. And because we chose to homeschool, we chose to start her a year early simply because I wasn't sure how easy it would be for us, and I thought it would be easier to homeschool Brianna while Shannon was an infant. She was an infant when we started homeschooling. Yep, she was an infant. I had her, and I just figured it would be much easier to homeschool with an infant as opposed to a toddler for the first year. So we decided to start Brianna when she was 4 and figured if it took 2 years to get through kindergarten, it took 2 years, it didn't really matter. We were homeschooling. So that was why we chose to start, we just weren't ready for her to go away. Then when we found out Shannon had cystic fibrosis, we thought, well, that is a much better scenario for her when she's young, to not be around a lot of germs. As we all know, little kids get sick with everything. And if our kids were all home, they were less exposed to some illnesses that could be very harmful to Shannon. So we felt God had led us in a good direction as far as Shannon's health, even before we knew what that would be. And so we had decided we would homeschool probably for elementary school. And then when they got to middle school, we would give them a choice. The only one that got a choice was Brianna. We gave her a choice in 7th grade and 8th grade and 9th grade, and she chose to stay home. After 9th grade, we were like, well, if you chose 9th grade, then we're just going to finish high school. We never anticipated homeschooling through high school, but once we got into it, we realized it wasn't as difficult as we thought it might be. So that's just a little background on our homeschooling journey. We also, numerous different times, well, basically every year, we prayed about it and do pray about it, asking if this is what we still should continue to do. And every time the Lord's made it very clear. There were a couple times that Dale was out of work, and we thought, well, if Claudine went to work, then we would just send the kids to school, and I would apply for jobs, teaching jobs, music teaching jobs, and nothing. So we just felt that as confirmation of God saying, continue the course I've set you on, and you're doing the right thing. So the homeschooling dynamic is really a journey. And I would say, even though we're in our 19th year of homeschooling, you've never learned all there is to learn about it. So one of the things early on was we decided that everything really is school. There's something you're learning all the time. So we wanted to create that kind of atmosphere in our home. We do a lot of reading together. Reading is foundational. in education. And once kids learn to read, the whole homeschooling process is much easier. And we've kind of taken homeschooling as in the elementary grades, you do much more teaching. As they grow up, it's a lot more self-directed learning. For us, that's how we've done it. And I check, make sure they're on task, make sure they're on track. We do some testing, and there are people that homeschool and their kids never take tests. There are people that homeschool strictly the way a public school would do. There's a whole variety of curriculum out there. There's a whole variety of options out there now. So really the basic thing is to research what will work best for your family, because that's the great thing about homeschooling. You can tailor it to the learning style of your children, the needs of your family, whether both parents are working, one parent's working, when your time is available. You don't have to homeschool Monday through Friday. You can homeschool on the weekend if Monday through Friday doesn't work. So we do a Monday through Friday. In fact, if we're taking one day off during the week, we're taking the whole week off. That's just one of my idiosyncrasies. I like to do a full 5-day week. Now I will say our workload is heavier Monday through Thursday, and Friday is kind of a catch-up day for our homeschool because we do a co-op every other Friday. So Friday early on became, all right, we'll either do fun learning stuff, co-op, or catch up on anything you got behind on during the week. So we really do a Monday through Thursday, with Friday being an alternate day. And as far as like the organization, how I chose curriculum, I just kind of tried out and felt out what worked best for us. The first year I started off strictly Abeka. We did all Abeka. If you're looking for something easy, there are lots of programs that have the full curriculum. You buy it. They even have DVDs. Abeka Academy has DVDs that will teach your kids. I think most, Bob Jones, a lot of them have that kind of option. So we did strictly Abeka, not the DVDs. But then after that, I picked and chose what worked and what didn't work for us. I loved the Abeka English, grammar, all that. Their reading curriculum was great. Phonics based, loved it for elementary school. Their math, not so much. Like after the first year, I was like, nope, that's not going to work for math for Brianna, so we're switching. And I chose Matthew C. That clicked with her, so we've stuck with that ever since, and it worked with the other kids too. There is an investment in homeschooling as far as time. Your time is invested greatly in your kids and in your family. There's an investment of money. We have been able to homeschool by the grace of God on one income. I did not work outside the home. I've given music lessons at times, and we've done some other things on the side to make a little extra money, but we've lived on Dale's income for 26 years. For 26 years we've lived on Dale's income. As far as homeschooling goes, we were able to do it. I did a lot of buying stuff used, eBay, a couple other homeschool sites where you can buy used curriculum sales, but it was doable for us on one income. We made sacrifices in other ways, things that we did not feel that were necessities for our life that we chose not to get because we were living on one income, but those are choices you make. So if you're not willing to make some sacrifices, homeschooling can be a stressor financially, but it does not have to be. And like I say, if you have unlimited resources as far as financially, or more resources than what we had, there's lots of curriculums that you can buy the whole thing and do whatever. So there's all sorts of, you can do it cheaply, you can do it spending a lot of money. It's varied. It really, you suit it to what fits your family and your lifestyle. Field trips, every vacation was a field trip of some sort. There was something historical and there was some kind of assignment, whether it was a writing assignment or something that went along with it. So, aquariums, historical sites, lots of things that we did on vacation we could count as Going to the ocean and swimming is gym. There's everything, like I say, everything when you homeschool, you count as school in one way, shape, or form. Even for us, like someone gets hurt, all right, today is health, and we are going to learn about how to take care of this injury. So that's just how we chose to homeschool. There are lots of different options for that as well. So it's just do your research, make a plan. But then the other thing is flexibility. I'm not an extremely flexible person. I like to have a plan and stick to the plan and have a course mapped out. That does not work in homeschooling well, I have found early on. And I often think God chose for our family to homeschool to work on some of my, I don't want to say issues, but some of the things that I needed to work on. So flexibility is key in homeschooling. You need to be willing to change course if something's not working. Some people change course middle of the year. I always chose to try to stick out the year and then change course at the end of the year. But there were a couple times that we did switch up in the middle of the year. But you need to be flexible because things change, circumstances change, kids are all different. All 4 of our kids learned different ways and excelled in different things, and you just kind of have to take that and go with that child. And that is the beauty of homeschooling, is it's not one size fits all. You can do what works for each individual child, what works for your family, while maintaining flexibility and the willingness to change if necessary. The other thing about our homeschooling journey is we homeschool in New York, and some people will say it's, there's a lot of regulations, blah, blah, blah. Those regulations don't bother me because I think some accountability is good, and I was advised very, very early on that when submitting reports, submit just what they ask for, nothing more, nothing less. And I did that for my first individual home instruction plan, and I have not had to change anything I've done ever since. The school's never had a problem with what I've sent in, and we've been fine, sent everything in on time. So sending in New York, that's all I know. We've never lived in another state, so I don't know what regulations there are in other states. But we have to send in a letter of intent to homeschool, and then our plan for the year, and then 4 quarterly reports. There is a testing component, which starts in 3rd grade and is every other year from 3rd to 8th. And then from 9th through 12th, you are to test every year with a standardized test. I just tested every year because I felt for me it was easier to just test the kids than write a narrative or have someone else write a narrative based on what they had done in the year and how they had done. So that is just what we chose to do. We've used the PASS test, we've used the Iowa test, and we've used the Stanford Achievement tests. So various different things. PASS test is specifically for homeschooling and only goes up to 8th grade, 3rd through 8th grade. And the Iowa test and Stanford Achievement test we get through a website. They're sent here to the home, and the kids do them at home. So that is our basis for homeschooling. We've graduated 2 kids. Never thought, like as I said, we never thought we would do high school. But when Brianna chose to stay home for middle school and high school, we just kind of figured in the way society was going and the way we saw public schools going and leaning, we thought that it didn't really fit our value system and what we wanted our kids to be exposed to at such malleable ages. So we chose to just continue to homeschool. We pray about it often, but God has still remained firm on that's what we're to do. So that's what we do. We have 2 more children. Megan will graduate next year, and Brendan in 3 years. So we are nearing the end of our homeschool journey, and still I feel like there's so much we could learn and so much that we haven't even thought about. But it definitely is a journey, and it definitely is something the whole family is involved with. Even though Dale works outside the home, he's still very involved he would often do science with the kids when they were younger because I couldn't always explain things well, and experiments didn't always go as they were supposed to when I did them, so often he would do that, and he was involved in other ways too, and of course vacations always there, so any field trip we did he was pretty much involved with. So it's definitely a whole family commitment, and it's not right for every child. Even though we homeschooled all 4 of our kids, I have friends that homeschooled 1 or 2 of their kids and the other kids went to school. There's various reasons for choosing to homeschool, public school, private school, and those are all individual reasons. I never assume that homeschooling is for everyone, and I never assume that public schooling is for everyone, or private school. So it definitely is something that each person has to take into consideration. I know, seeing how in the last year and a half things have gone with the school system during this time of pandemic, a lot of people are more interested in homeschooling right now, and I think that is a good thing in many ways, but it is not going to fix everything for families or everything for the education system in our country. I think the education system in our country could use some revamping in some ways. I think there are some very good things about it and some very bad things about it. And for us, homeschooling was the answer for some of that. So that's just a little bit about our homeschool journey here at the old house. And if you have specific questions on what we do, what has worked, hasn't worked, and anything about how we homeschool specifically, we'd be more than happy to answer those questions. And if you have any other comments about homeschooling or any other things you'd like to know about specifically, again, just put a comment down below. And we hope this has helped in some way, shape, or form. My biggest encouragement to you is, if you're considering homeschooling, if you have faith, to pray about it. And if you're considering homeschooling in the secular sense and it has nothing to do with your value system or belief system, then I would just say try it, and if it doesn't work, you can always go back to school. There's nothing that says once you pick something you can't change and go back to something else. Little trickier sometimes in the high school years to be going back and forth, but if you think you're interested in it and trying it out, I know co-ops are a great help and other things, but if you have any questions, any thoughts or comments, we'd love to see them down below. Thanks, and we'll see you again next week here at the old house.
If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our videos and turn on the bell for notifications.
We hope you'll join us again at the old house.